What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Rurouni Kenshin. This is episode 5, I believe. And with me, as always, I have Bluespit.
Yeah. So this of course continues from where the last episode left off, where Sanosuke is continuing his fight against Kenshin, but of course he gets brutally overwhelmed by Kenshin due to the fact that his Zanpakuto toe is like too big for him to carry around, and of course,
It is sword.
yeah, his sword can well, yeah, Kenshin easily dodges his Zanpakuto toe. Um, pretty easily just due to his big weight and how slow it moves. So Kenshin just like brutally beats Sanosuke over and over and over again. But of course, Sanosuke, of course, is determined to beat Kenshin because like he's taking his anger out on Kenshin due to the fact that his superior from back then, uh, what was it, Sagara Sozo, was killed by uh, I think it has something to do like with this group of being political extremists, and I think taking matters into their own hands before they were all executed.
I think it was like imperialists or something.
Yeah,
They killed him, and he has like a grudge against the imperialists. Um, but Kenshin explains that he's not really like affiliated with the imperialists or something, or that's not really, I guess, who he is anymore. Because of course, as we know, he used to be an assassin for, uh, or like a hired assassin.
yeah,
But of course, he's not anymore.
yeah. But of course, while that's happening, Kihi, of course, takes advantage of the situation and tries to shoot Kenshin, which of course he kind of does. But of course, Kenshin blocks the bullet with his Suba, which is of course the guard of the katana. Uh, so of course, Kihi's brother tries to kidnap both Kaoru and Yaiko, but of course Sanosuke stops them from kidnapping them, and both he and Kenshin and both take down both Kihi and his brother soon after that. After that, of course, both Sanosuke and Kenshin both fight once again before Kenshin, of course, comes out victorious by the end of that fight.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and of course, like Sagura, I think he does. This is sort of when he has sort of, I guess, in a way, like a truce with Kenshin, but he says like he wants to get stronger so he can like fight him again.
Mhm. Yeah, so he pretty much lets go of his grudge against Kenshin, realizing that he's not like those imperialists that led to his captain Sagura get killed. So pretty much the next day, um, you know, uh, Sanosuke, of course, is still recovering after getting beat up. Of course, he goes after like another set of drunken people by at that same restaurant where Kenshin and him met, and so pretty much that's where the episode ends off from there.
Yeah, it really didn't feel like a lot really happened here. I mean, it's just sort of the continuation of the fight between them from the last episode, and just somebody else that is has befriended, or the Kenshin, I guess, has befriended, um and was another part of the main cast. Um, and I guess these episodes are just sort of introducing the really just like the main cast of characters. Um, and if the end of this episode is anything to go by, I guess like this is the point where we're going to have introduce the villains and what the I guess the plot of maybe the beginning of the series is, because there is like I think it's like a post credit scene with this mysterious guy wearing a hat that's supposedly like killed a bunch of these people in like a mansion or something, and he's chasing this guy, and I feel like I know who this character is, but I'm not entirely sure, because I've seen the first movie and I want to say it's probably the main, well, probably like well, not the main villain from that movie, but one of the villains. And I feel like this episode is kind of like teasing him
Yeah.
at the end of it.
I think his name is, if I can remember correctly, I think it was Jin, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Unless I'm going character from the movie, unless they unless
Yeah,
different character, but, uh,
I feel like it's the same
yeah,
guy, but I'm not entirely
yeah.
sure.
There is, of course, like, another character who technically did appear in the flashback of the first episode. It was, like, Hajime Saito, who's, the former member of the Shinsengumi, now works, for the
Yeah.
Meiji government as a police officer, who's eventually gonna make an, appearance soon after this. But yeah, I think all the episodes, like, introducing all the main cast is pretty much done and over with, so I think we're finally gonna move on to the whole meat of the storyline.
Yeah, I was kind of excited by the end of the episode because like I feel like yeah, these episodes are necessary, but um I it hasn't been too long ago since I've seen part of some of the original series, so it's like it's kind of like showing us mostly stuff that, we've already seen, and it feels like it's maybe like taking it. I mean, maybe with this series, it feels like it took a little bit longer for it to get some of that out of the way, maybe in comparison to the original series, um, or at least it felt that way to me. But I like now how It seems like yeah, they're at least now finally getting into what the plot is going to be. Um, it's just like I feel like the only thing with this series, especially for people who haven't seen the original, is that they might not have liked so much, I guess, the slower pace of this, and could have already like checked out by episode 3 because they hadn't really, the main plot hadn't really occurred yet or anything, and it's just introducing these characters. So I guess that's the only issue people might have, especially if they're like new to Kenshin
Yeah,
and they don't know what it's getting into.
yeah. I think, like I said, it's more of like retreading like a lot of the stuff the original series did, and
Yeah,
and of course, like I said, they pretty much got all the introductions out of the way. They introduced Kenshin, um, Kenshin, Sagura, Kaoru, and Yahiko into the main storyline. So now all the main cast members have been introduced, and it's time to get into you know to the major storylines that are upcoming in this season. Assuming if they're going
mm.
going to stay true with the original storyline.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope that they are going to eventually try to adapt the entirety of the source material, especially because I mean that'd be good for people who are both newcomers and also people who have seen the original anime, and maybe haven't read the mangas. If they eventually get to manga material that they may not even be familiar with. So I'm looking forward to that, but I feel like that probably won't happen for a while, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, so far the series has been pretty good. I just feel like it needs to have I guess it kind of need to have a little bit more of a hook because I mean it has been fairly slow paced. But yeah, I think it'll probably be worth it with once it gets into, like you said, like the meat of the plot. Um, but yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about this episode, though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
No, I mean, like I said, it's it. I mean, like I said, I'm not too surprised of what's going on with with the storyline. It's like I said, it's retreading a lot of the stuff the original series has done initially, of course. Like, can't say for sure like if they're gonna be some major changes to the upcoming storylines, like changing certain things that unlike the original anime did. But yeah, it's just it's mostly just going by the same story beats like the original did.
Yeah, yeah, guys. But yeah. So that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.